Greetings. Welcome. I'm back. Yes. It's another Wednesday night, 9 o'clock. Hit the like, subscribe, tell a friend. We're going to talk some serious Browns football tonight, going into week one, letting people come in. Also, I want to let y'all know Browns backers, Browns of Columbus, B.O.C., will be hosting at the Savoy Club September the 10th, the Battle of Ohio, Browns versus the Bengals. Savoy Club is at 1904 Lake Club Drive, Columbus, Ohio, 43232. Oh, man. I don't know about y'all, but I've been waiting for week one to kick off. Now, the first game actually is tomorrow, Thursday night. That kicks off the NFL season. Like some of us, got a lot of college football in. And I think I might start another sports talk where I could talk about other, all sports. But this one right here is for the Browns. And with our fan base and as large as we are, I'm jumping into the water with the Sharks. I'm starting off young. So as I grow, you grow. And hopefully I can inform you and you like the content that I give you. Some is going to be the same. Some is going to be different. I have a different outlook and a different standpoint on some of the things that's going out there. So please, if you can bear with me and understand that I'm growing, I'm new to this. I'm not new to podcasts, but I'm new to the YouTube aspect of it. So here in the next couple months, I will be making a couple changes and doing some things or getting better. And I hope that you are here to watch and see me grow as we move forward. I kind of strategically did this for the reason that I wanted to wait until the Browns got to a point where my fandom and my understanding of the game could actually merge, because as you know, most Browns fans, we have been in a place where we watched the game but we really wasn't pleased or excited about some of the outcomes. Moving forward, I can guarantee you, I tell you this, I can guarantee you, because anyone to hear me talk about the Browns, even though I'm a fan of the Browns, I keep it 100. If things ain't right, I'm gonna call it like I see it, and hope and pray that my Browns get it together and go on a not only a run, but set themselves up like some of the other organizations in the NFL that year in and year out are fighting for uh, division championships, conference championships, and the ultimate goal, the Super Bowl. So as I grow, I guarantee you that these Browns is going to grow, because some of the moves that they are making and the fact that this is one of the first times since we've been back in 99 that the Browns have kept the same system in place. This is Stefanski's fourth year with the Browns. And this year alone is like the first year that he didn't have a lot of off off the field or uh, preseason noise outside of football. So he was able to really focus on football and allow Andrew Berry to get him the pieces that he can cook with. We're gonna talk about that. I mean, hopefully, I got you for an hour. But like I said, as I grow, you grow. Leave comments. Let me know what you want to hear, what you would like to talk about, or what you think I can improve on. I take constructive criticism. I do. See, in order to become a star in a field where there's a lot of stars, you have to be coachable and understand that there's things that you can improve on. So don't feel, I don't care how you put it, whether you like it or don't like it. I read it. I got a filter. I know how to filter out things that don't, pertain to me. Because one thing I believe is when you know who you are, can't nobody tell you who you are. And I live by that. Also, Browns of Columbus will be having a bus trip going October the 15th for the Browns versus the 49ers at home at Cleveland Browns Stadium. Members, the bus trip seats are $65. For non-members, it's $75. And it's transportation only, meaning that we'll get you there. But if you want to go to the game, get your tickets beforehand. You can go to the game, enjoy it. Those that don't go to the game will be tailgating outside of the stadium, designated area, and watching the game. So you have your options if you're going in or tailgating. If you want to know more, you can go to Browns of Columbus on Facebook, or you can email brownsofcolumbus@gmail.com, and they will respond back to you. Um, Great organization, like-minded Browns fans. I mean, we steady growing. Headquarters, or when we watch the game at, is at the Savoy Club, 1904 Lake Club Drive, Columbus, Ohio, 43232. Now, what we'll be touching on tonight is what I believe are three key things to victory in week one. I'll tell you why I feel that way, what I'm looking for, what can and cannot happen. We'll talk about those things. Also, want to talk about how whoever you talk to or you listen to, the Browns could be fighting for the division or they could end up last. It's kind of interesting to hear, people talk about it when they talk about the Browns have one of the best rosters in the league right now. Is it their bias, or they legitimately have a leg to stand on about how they feel that the Browns will end the season in the fourth slot in the AFC North? Because we all know the AFC North is going to be a battleground. From top to bottom, they're talking about at least three in this division can make it to the playoffs. You already know that the division winner gets in, and they projected at least two to get the wild card. So we'll see how that play out, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about how the AFC North and even some other divisions, but I concentrate on the AFC North, is front loaded. Most of the teams are playing each other in the first 6 weeks. So however that plays out can set any team up for a good run in the AFC North. especially early on, because as you know, coming out of the preseason, you can catch some teams slipping because a lot of teams don't get their stride and don't get their identity about who they are as a team until like week 4, 5, maybe 6. So if you're able to start fast and get those wins up under your belt while you're still learning who you are as a team, give you not only momentum but strength moving forward, especially if you got an early bye like the Browns do. We'll be talking about the injury report, who's playing, who might not be playing. We'll touch on those things. You know, both rosters we'll look at them and see what some of the key matchups. Um, so it's a lot to talk about tonight when it comes to the Browns. If you don't have a place to watch it, make sure you go to the Savoy Club and have a good time. If I'm not mistaken, B.O.C is over 100, 150 members right now. So that should tell you a lot about who we are. So make sure you like, subscribe, tell a friend. Don't cost you nothing at all to hit the like button, to subscribe, to stay in contact with some of this content that you are going to be getting here at B.O.C. Browns of Columbus Dog Talk with Mr. Bingo. Welcome. Now, I've been a Browns fan all my life. So I've seen, a lot. And, normally when it comes to, let me correct that. Since 1999, the Browns have not had a winning record in opening games. They haven't had any success in opening games. Last year, I think we won 2 opening games since we've been back in 1999. That is going to change. We have the home game this Sunday at 1:00 against the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, normally, people talk about how the Browns have the Bengals number, seeing that since Burrow's been there in this time frame, the Browns are 5-1 against the Bengals, even though the Bengals have went on to play in not only the Super Bowl, but the AFC uh, title game. The Browns have been one of those teams that typically they say have their number. We'll see, because now the Browns have changed defensive coordinators. How big of a part is that going to play in those numbers moving forward? If we can, get wins with our old defensive coordinator who we know was suspect, I love our chances right now. I love what the Browns are doing. Excuse me. They slowly, under the radar, just putting a team together. Now, we all know you can put a team together that doesn't make you a champion, and it don't make you a good team. You hope that when you put these pieces together and they all are talented, that you get those men to come together and play as a team. It's two different entities, two different things that's going on. You can always get the talent. And it might play good, might gel, it might, you know, make some noise, or it might just fall on his face. You never know. But one thing you do know is that you have an abundance of talent. That's one thing for sure. But when you take that talent and you're able to merge or move them to become a team, your chances of moving forward are very different. Because when you become a team, you're looking out for your teammate, the person next to you. You're more emotionally involved as a player. See, if you're just individuals that got talent, your mindset is more about I got skills, I could ball. But as a team, the person next to you can ball as well, and y'all ready to take on another team and impose y'all's will. So it's better to grow as a team than as a collective of nice or talented individuals. And we'll see this year, how that plays out. I haven't heard anything bad coming out of Berea or the Browns locker room as far as um, anything counteracting that movement of this team coming together and playing as a team. And a lot of times when you are in battle or playing other teams, that's when you start to develop and grow that chemistry, that bond that you sometimes have, or you start develop in the preseason when you get to know someone, hang out with them, so on and so forth. But you really don't know, and a lot of football players understand this. You really don't know who that person is until you're in between those lines and y'all have a common goal. Y'all in battle with someone that's trying to take y'all's head off, someone that trying to hurt livelihood. See, so when these early games come on and they have to play the likes of Cincinnati in game one, then got to come back and play Pittsburgh Monday Night Football game two. Then you got, oh man, Tennessee coming through, which I'm not going to write them off, but they're not as strong as they have been in the past. You have Baltimore, then the 49ers. So you're going to be tested right off rip. But for this first game against the Bengals, as long as they don't walk into that stadium thinking that if I just roll my helmet out there because we are 5-1 against the team down south, it could go bad. Anytime a team walks out there and think they just got the dub, and one thing players can feel and understand is when you walk in and you look at someone in their eye and they feel like, oh yeah, I got that. I got them. You invoke something in that opponent that they want to knock that chip off your shoulder or just take you down just because it's a disrespect that they consist of in you. So it's going to be, real interesting to see how this first game play up, because one thing we do know is that the Browns and Stefanski always seems to uh, assemble plays on that first drive for success. He's been doing that since he's been here. throat was getting kind of dry. So we do know that. But I'm gonna tell you right now, my three keys to the Brown walking away with a win is the Browns defensive line. Y'all thought I was gonna go with the offense. My first key is that defensive line. If you don't recall, remember Burrows just came back from having a slight calf injury. So he can't really move or maneuver like he normally do. See, last year was easy for him when he was playing the Browns because you only got pressure pretty much from Myles Garrett. The rest of his offensive line was able to hold up, so they was able to uh, put the double team Myles or shift the coverage or shift the blocking to where they had help on his side. This year, with the additions that the Browns made and the attitude that they have, being in attack mode off rip, and they rotating 8 players every 3 to 4 plays, depending on how it's going. That's how Jim Schwartz, runs his defensive line. One is going to keep the offensive line guessing because they're not going to know who to double team, how to shift that pressure. That's going to be more on Burrows now to when he see it to have to talk to his center, let the center talk to the offensive lineman, and let them know where they're going to delegate that free blocker. And when you have to think, you can't play as fast. See, last year they didn't have to think. Myles Garrett was always on, let's say, the left side. If you was on offense, he was on the left side. So with him always being there, you can either put a tight end on that side, use a running back to chipping, or shift the coverage that way. This year, you don't only have Myles Garrett on the left side, you have Smith on the right. Wow. Not only that, but they went out and got Tomlinson, experienced defensive tackle. They got Harris. I say that to say that when the game starts, the bullets is going to come a lot faster to Burrows than it normally will. They have to think a little bit more because they don't know if Myles Garrett is going to be outside. They're going to stunt, or they're going to allow him to move around on the defensive line and find the matchups that's favorable for him. That's key number one, because you have now Myles Garrett versus Orlando Brown. In the wide nine, it allows Myles Garrett to get at an angle to where he gets a running start. Now you got to pick your poison. I heard a interview or someone talked to Joe Thomas, and he was one that stated that the problem with the wide nine that a defense or offensive lineman have is that with you being so wide, you get a running start. So if a tackle opens up too much, Myles can go underneath. If his ankles are together, Myles can crush that pocket from the left side. And then you got the two up front that's going to push it from the middle. So whereas last year would be lanes for Burrows to step up, get through, those lanes is not going to be there as much as it was last year because that pocket is going to get collapsed. Now, I just told you about Myles Garrett and Orlando Brown. That's one matchup. So what the Cincinnati did is they moved Jonah Williams. Let me get that right. Jonah Williams from the left side to the right side. Now, when he was on the right side, he was giving up the most pressures, especially when it came to Myles Garrett. So now he's moving to the right side. You think he's gonna have any better luck with Smith? Z? Nah, it's gonna get real difficult. So now, how are you going to call your line when when people have to think about what they got to do instead of just playing and reacting? It slows you down a little bit as an athlete. That's why they say when the game slows down for you, everybody can be moving fast, and you see them pretty much in slow motion. So that means the game is going to be fast for not only the offensive lineman, but the quarterback, because the pocket is not going to be as comfortable as it been in the past. And with that being said, you have 2.3 seconds to get the ball off, and we're playing man on the back end. So that means he got to get the ball out of his hands quicker, make faster decisions, and hope that his decision is the right one. And if it's not, as you've seen in the preseason, the Browns have been able to get a lot of takeaways. That's where the pressure from the defensive line helps. Whereas in the years past, we play a read and react, which allowed a quarterback to have anywhere from 2.5 to almost 3.5 seconds to make a decision, get the ball off, and make their plays. Jim Schwartz is going to make them react to what he's going to do, and he's going to let them dogs eat. We didn't even see Myles Garrett in the preseason. Fresh. But they know what they got. And remember, when they had their joint practice with the Eagles, one of the veteran Eagles linemen said, man, this defensive line for the Browns is something else. It's something else. So that's one key. Key number two is going to be big plays for the Browns offense. Now, I say this because Cincinnati is starting two new safeties. And sometimes it takes two new players, few games to understand who and what they are as a tandem as opposed to individual. They might be talented as a strong and a free safety. But I was listening to some reporters from Cincinnati, and they said they're having trouble getting on the same page, whereas the safeties they had last year could pretty much look at each other and knew what each one was going to do and react accordingly. These two players right now haven't gotten to that point. So if the Browns are smart, they would capitalize on it. Because one thing they haven't shown this preseason is us having the ability to throw it over the top. So that means come off rip, what a defense is going to do is they're going to sit on the short routes, not thinking that we have the ability to go over the top until we go over the top. So that's going to put those safeties in compromising situations, because what if they don't see exactly what the play is doing and the communication is broke? That's how you have, big plays. And with the wide receiver core that we have with Cooper, Elijah Moore, Donovan Peoples-Jones, then we got Godwin back. who we brought in to take the top off, that right there is going to make him think, because even if he runs a go route, that's going to open up underneath plays. Njoku in scene. So it's almost like this year you're going to have to pick your poison with the Browns offense. So the second point that I picked was big plays. Uh, Before Deshaun sat down for those 2 seasons, coming back from the rest, one, two, Stefanski really haven't designed the defense, or sorry, the offense for big play capabilities, because one, they didn't have the personnel. Remember, they got the young wide receiver who was a track star but wasn't really a football player, and it didn't work out because he couldn't really catch the ball. So he attempted to design an offense to take the top off, but we haven't seen it. The Browns haven't proven it, haven't proved it. I'm sorry. So we have to see how it's going to go this year. But prior to, I think it was 2019, 2020, Deshaun Watson led the league, or was in the top 5 of big plays to wide receivers, especially when they went to what we call a spread in the NFL. No running back, all wide receivers. So we'll see, Deshaun being the student of the game, him having the ability to audible out of plays and get the Browns in the best play possible is going to be vastly different from what other teams know. Because typically, when Stefanski call a play, he's going to give you 1 or 2 plays, pretty much a run in the pass, and you got to run those 2. Deshaun has the ability that if those 2 plays is not going to be favorable for the offense, flop it. He can change the play where instead of it being a draw, he can run off tackle. The playbook is wide open, especially for a quarterback who is a student of the game. So that leads me to my third point. Now, I already touched on the defensive line, making sure that they wreak havoc, move the line of scrimmage. That's going to be one of the keys. 2, it's going to be big plays from the offense, seeing that Cincinnati is weak or not as strong as they have been in the secondary. Now, they still have the defensive line that can make some noise, but if we got the top 5 offensive line, them trying to put pressure on Deshaun, who is mobile, is not going to be the same as us having the that was staying in the pocket. So that was number 2. Number 3 is the fact that Deshaun Watson is owning this offense, that he can call audibles. Now, you see how they use Elijah Moore in the preseason. So take it, if you go with spread, now they got to come out in nickel. And you move Elijah Moore, motion him to the backfield. Who you going to cover him with? Linebacker? One-on-one with a safety? See, so many possibilities that the offense could do right now with the personnel that they have. We're going to see if defenses can combat it and understand it, because Deshaun has an arsenal. He's never played with this amount of talent, not even in college. That's scary. That's my third one. See, we already know once he get up under center, he's back to his old self. A lot of the talking heads will say, he makes 200. Listen, As an athlete, if I had a lot of things on my mind, I couldn't perform to the top of my ability or my skill. I'm taking away him being off for 2 years. But when you have a lot on your mind, you can't really focus at the task on hand. He was playing the game that he loved to play, but he wasn't loving the game that he was playing. This year, he done got back to loving it. And I say this because if you notice when you see Deshaun Watson, remember how Cam Newton, when he made a big play, he was playing his game. He knew who he was. In the last preseason game, you see Deshaun pull the arrow back. That's his signature move. That means he see the game and it's slowing down for him. So all the talking heads saying, we don't know if he's going to get back. He didn't have an injury. He was set on ice. Me personally, I think he's going to be a lot better because now he have an extra year of not having all those hits to his body. So he's going to be more mature. And we're going to be good. Now, my next question, since we got the 3 out the way, which is going to be defensive line, big plays, and the fact that Deshaun can call audibles. Those are my 3 key to the Browns winning this game. If you have any, ideas or thoughts on how, or if you have 3 different keys, let me put it that way. If you have 3 different keys to victory, put it in the comment. I'll read it and I'll get back. I said, if you have 3 different keys of victory, please put it in the comment. I'm interested to see how, different people see how the Browns can win. My word is not gospel, but I believe in what I say. So, hey, like, tell somebody, and subscribe. Every Wednesday, Mr. Bingo is here. B.O.C. Browns of Columbus. Now, this next one, whoever wins this game, in my opinion, not just this game, but will set themselves up for the long haul in the AFC North. I'm going to tell you why. One, especially if the Browns win, you're playing a team with the caliber of the Cincinnati Bengals, who's been in the Super Bowl, who has been division title game. So if you could pull this game off, not only have you put the NFL on notice, but as a player, you tell yourself now, I can play with some of the best in the league. It's good when people tell you can do it, but when you actually go out there and do it, you walk away with a confidence. It gives credence and gives power to the swagger that you already have because you did this to a division foe. Now, I'm hoping that if that happens, that it's not fool's gold, because the next week you got to go in and you got to play Pittsburgh on Monday night. I don't want us to be too overconfident in that game. But one thing I will tell you, if you notice and you have seen the history of the Browns, and this is under the last 3 coaches, if I'm not mistaken, anytime the Browns is on national TV, they bring their A game. We could be having the worst season, playing like bums. But if you ever notice, we play on Thursday night or Monday night, they play a lot better. Now I'm gonna tell you where that aspect of it is bad. If that thought pattern is in this team, it's gonna be bad. Because if you can only play good when the rest of the world's eyes is on you, it's gonna be hard for you to walk through this AFC North when you playing on at 1 o'clock, you playing at 4 o'clock. It's going to be hard as a team for you to move forward with that mindset. It's good when you're a bottom dweller, but when you are a team trying to contend, you don't want to be just able to bring your A game when you're on national TV, when you know everybody's watching. You got to have that same energy, that same swagger, that same dog in you on Sunday at 1 o'clock when you have a Tennessee that comes in. That's just being honest. So if the Browns do win, we'll see and understand how much confidence this win would give them going into Monday night game. Because if they win that game, now you're 2-0 in the division. And you done beat two teams that normally you have problems with outside of Cincinnati. But like I said, they're a playoff team. Then you play Pittsburgh, who has not had a losing season since Tomlinson has been the head coach. So this first game is very important, especially at home, because I'm gonna tell you what happens. If the Browns drop this game at home, the season opener, the fans are going to be like, here we go again. Same old Browns. And the energy in the city and the fan base is going to be down 25 to 35%. I already see it coming if we lose. But if we take care of those three keys, the victory that I had talked about earlier, and we walk away with a dub, as Browns fans, we have to sit back and watch how they develop. See, in games that close, they're not going to go 18-0. You know what I mean? They might even drop some games that they shouldn't drop. But this year is going to be very exciting because we have talent on both sides of the ball. Both sides. And I'm hoping that with the aggressiveness of the defense, that it bleeds over to the offense. And it should, if my predictions is right, and we're going to be a big play offense, because we're going to go downfield in attempts to move the ball in 3 to 4 plays to score. And if our defense is causing havoc at the defensive line, which is causing the quarterback to get the ball out of his hands in less than 2.5 seconds, and we're playing man-to-man on the back end, we got 3 cornerbacks that I ain't gonna say their bread and butter is man-to-man. Denzel, Newman, and Emerson. Their strength is man-to-man. They can play zone, and they very well might disguise it as the season go on. But if we're going to be an attack defense, that man-to-man on the back end is going to be very important. So if we get tailed and give them more opportunities, it's only going to be beneficial for the Browns altogether. And I still haven't mentioned Nick Chubb. Because if you recall the year that the Browns went to the playoffs, what they did is they got up 20, 21, 24 points. And what they started doing, they started feeding Nick Chubb. You see it. They started feeding Nick Chubb. So they started shortening the clock. And I could see a lot of that even happening, not only in this game, but in the AFC North, altogether. Because remember, I told you that Deshaun is a student of the game. So when he called audible and he see a light box, it's only going to be natural that he hands the ball off to Chubb and let him chew up some yards. And they should be able to work together. Now, when the defense is committing down to try to stop Chubb, it opens up the back end. It's going to be a chess game. Oh, I can't wait. If you like this content, please make sure you like, subscribe, and tell a friend. Dog Talk with Mr. Bingo is here every Wednesday at 9 o'clock at Browns of Columbus. Leave a comment. Tell me what I asked. What are your 3 keys to victory? Then also, you hear him say that the Browns could finish in last place again this year. What is your prediction of where the Browns will end up? Will you think the Browns is going to win the division? Are they going to be second or, runner up? Or are they going to be last? I mean, it's a thin line between, all of them. But if the Browns handle their business, me personally, I think the worst the Browns should do is second in the division. The worst they should do is second. And if they do that, I wouldn't even be mad because one, it'll be a playoff berth. Two, me personally, I think the Browns is 2 years from winning the Super Bowl. Because as a team that's growing and gelling together, if they got there this year, kudos. Kudos. I see a track to get there, and it could very well be possible. But from my perspective, if they got the runner up in the AFC North, got into the playoffs, got all the way to the title game there or the Super Bowl and lost, they'd be hungry to get back there the following year. Now, if they get there, I want them to win. Don't get me wrong. I want the Browns to win. All I'm saying is, as an athlete, it won't be bad, as some people are going to make it seem, if they become runner-up in the AFC North, get into the playoffs, make a deep run, and either lose at the title game or lose in the Super Bowl. Because I believe the way this team is constructed, that these players will be hungry to get back there. So they will learn what it takes to become a champion and play the following year with that target on your back. See, it's a lot of nuances to the game. It's hard to get on top. It's even harder to stay on top. Because when you sneak up on the team, you can catch them. But when every team is out to get you, that means every single week you have to bring your A game and be talented enough that if you do happen to have a bad week, that your B game is enough to get you through. That's what we have to learn as Browns fans, to change the culture to get us to that place that we see Kansas City at right now. New England's been at. Well, once you learn how to win, you start sustaining that win. And the Browns is making those moves right now with us being able to retain and keep the same coach, pretty much the same coaching staff outside of bringing in a new defensive coordinator, which we needed, which we last year, even though it was topsy-turvy and things didn't happen, if our defense would have stepped up, we would have been better off. We would have at least won 2 to 3 more games than we did last year, even with everything going on. So that being said, now that you got a better defensive coordinator, you don't think that the Browns can catapult themselves or move up to the upper echelon of the AFC, not just the AFC North? Are we that short-sighted that we don't remember that Deshaun Watson was a top 5 quarterback before he stepped away from Houston? But the one thing about being in a Browns organization or a Browns fan, they want to see us do it. They want to see these dogs bark. They want to see the dogs fight. They want to see the dogs bite. Out of all the years since we've been back, this is like one of the first times that I feel that we're going to have a product out there that the Browns is going to be proud of. And I just want the fan base, you and I, to make sure we keep that energy up, because we are the best. Uh, some people say one of the best, but we are the best fan base in the NFL. And you see who he's gonna get back to it. He's gonna get back to it. I have all faith that he I seen signs last year when they was counting the 6 games. But to hear him talk, to watch some of the clips, to watch the preseason game, please believe he's gonna acquire some people. And with that being said, I'm gonna let y'all know right now, I will be doing some reaction videos to some of the talking heads, because if they don't, or they keep questioning whether Deshaun is going to get back to who he was in 2019, 2020. The man did already say he don't want to get back there. He want to be better. So if you not rooting or you are questioning number 4 about his talent because you have a different bias because of what he went through, I'll be reacting and calling you out as the season go on, as the Browns start to stack those wins and Deshaun is doing this thing. Please keep that same energy about who he is as a football player. I ain't gonna say don't jump on the bandwagon, because we'll build another one for you. Because us as Brown fans, we already know, we see where it's going. We see where it's going. It's going to be a good year this year, fellas. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be nice. So make sure, if you're not doing anything, September the 10th, and you want to go out and watch the game, be amongst like-minded Browns fans, Browns of Columbus will be at the Savoy Club at 1904 Lake Club Drive, Columbus, Ohio, 43232. Come on out, watch the game, have a couple drinks, order some food. Got food there, pool tables. It's going to be nice. Also, Browns of Columbus have a bus trip October the 15th going to see the Browns and the 40 versus the 49ers. It's going to be transportation only, $65 for members, $70 for non-members. Seats are going fast. Matter of fact, I talked to the board. They said seats are pretty much limited right now. So if you know a Browns backer, contact them, or you can reach the organization at Browns of Columbus at gmail.com and let them know you're interested and save your seat for the trip members, trip only. So if you want to go, make sure you get a ticket. You can go to the game, come back out. They'll be in the same spot, tailgating. Get on the bus, head back to Columbus, have a good time with this win that we're going to have. I would guarantee it, but I told you I have to see these certain things, these three keys to the Browns, victory. And I'm going to go over it again. One is going to be defensive line, the matchup between Myles Garrett, Orlando Brown, Zeke, Smith against Jonah Williams, where he moved from the left side to the right side. He going to have his hands full there. Two big plays. I believe the Browns going to have maybe, I believe, 3 20-plus plays, maybe one for a touchdown. Remember the safeties, they starting at Cincinnati are wet behind the ears. They knew. They're still the Bengals. You understand? They have been to where we're trying to make it. So I'm not knocking. I'm just saying these are some of the things that we are going to look at and try to expose in order for us to win the game. The other is the freedom for Deshaun Watson to make in-game adjustments. Normally, the Browns come out the first series, they can move down the field. But after that, it tends to be a problem making the in-game adjustments. The freedom that Deshaun has to call audibles and get the Browns into the right plays is going to help with those in-game adjustments for him being a student of the game. He will see what the defense is doing and what's going to be best for the Browns. With that being said, I'm not going to keep y'all any longer. Thank you for coming out. Make sure you like, subscribe, tell a friend. Every Wednesday night, 9 o'clock, Browns of Columbus Dog Talk with Mr. Bingo. You already know what it is. We going ham this year. We going ham, I'm telling you. A lot of players on the Browns got something to prove. They got a lot to prove. It's I ain't gonna say y'all heard it here first, but I'm gonna keep it 100. We getting that AFC title. Please believe it. Until next week, I got you. See ya.